Hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name is Danielle. I'm a fitness instructor, and you can also find me on Instagram at Danny Bellinger. And today I want to make a video going all over my fitness journey. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time, so thank you guys for tuning in today, and can't wait to open up to you and share my journey. My hopes today are just to inspire some of you by showing you what I've gone through and telling you about some of the lessons that I've been through. Or if fitness is maybe a career you want to get into, this video might help or inspire you along the way. This is going to be a longer video, so if you make it all the way to the end, thank you guys so much. But I will for sure make more videos sharing my tips. This is just going to be more so my journey and my experience. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so growing up, I was a pretty active kid. My favorite things to do were playing outside, jumping on the trampoline, climbing trees. I was never really an athletic person, I would say. I wasn't like skilled in sports. I didn't even start sports until I was in middle school, which I played soccer for a couple of years. And it wasn't until 9th grade when I joined volleyball when I truly fell in love with being competitive and really improving myself. So I played 4 years of volleyball and I really loved it. I also really loved running. It's something I would do when I got home from school. You know, we're just running about a mile or a mile and a half, nothing like long, but I really enjoyed it. Also in high school, the last few years, I joined gym class, and we had an open gym where we would go into the weight room, and this was sort of like the first time that I had ever really played around with weights. Most of the time we were able to do whatever we wanted, so my friends and I would mostly just do ab exercises, or I would go run on the treadmill by myself. But I did get introduced to squatting and benching and a couple other exercises while being in that class. And I thought that was really cool, but it's something I was still very confused about. It's just not really something I wanted to do on my own because it really intimidated me. I remember my dad having the P90X videos at home, and I actually started the P90X program. He always had some sort of equipment around the house, whether it was like a weight bench in the basement or some dumbbells. So I started P90X, and I had a friend that would do it with me, and we never were really consistent with it, but I just thought I would note that because I think it's kind of funny looking back now that P90X was like kind of the first fitness program that I was on, although, you know, I never really stuck with it. So this was the time that I was graduating high school, and I had to make the decision of what I was going to do for college, or whether I was going to go to college or not. I was always pretty set on going to college, and I had decided on Central Michigan University, but my dad was always telling me that if I hadn't fully decided on what I wanted to do, that I should try to save money and go to community college. I was super against it at first because I really wanted to, you know, adult. I wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to do what all my friends were doing and go off to college. But at the last second, I decided that my dad was right and that I should go to community college. And it did help that my boyfriend at the time and my best friend were going to stay home and go to community college. So I decided to do that for a year. And at the time, I thought I wanted to be an occupational therapist. But of course, when you're 18, you really don't know for sure what you want to do. A lot of times you change it. So I wanted to go job shadow and see if it's something I really liked. So I went up to the hospital, and I was job shadowing this occupational therapist up there. She was really awesome, and she taught me a lot. But it was pretty cool because right next to the therapy unit, there's a gym called the Bay Athletic Club. And she took me over there one day to go check it out because she has some of her clients go over there. And I thought it was such a cool environment. I had never been to like a club gym. And I actually found out that they were trying to find someone to work the front desk there. And so I applied, and I ended up getting the job. I was really excited to be in this environment because, like I said, I've always really liked fitness, and it was such an inspiring job for me because we would do a lot of challenges at the gym, and I saw how fitness would change people's lives, both mentally and physically. These people were changing. It was saving their lives. It was saving their family. And I heard a lot of like amazing stories about people even, you know, getting in accidents where if they were not physically fit, they would not have survived it. And I was so inspired by this, and I think this is a major shift in my life. And it was kind of like that light bulb going off in my head that this was something that I could truly do for the rest of my life, and I could like impact a lot of lives. And it was really awesome because I think that was really the turning point. So at that point, I didn't know too much about fitness, and I would like go into the gym, but I was so intimidated to do my own workouts, and I didn't really know how to use a lot of the equipment. So when I first started, I would mostly just run on the treadmill, and I decided to sign up for a 5K race, and that's when I really started like getting more interested in fitness and really pushing myself to the limits. So from there, I started going into a lot of the group fitness classes, and I loved the environment of it. It was really intimidating at first, and I wasn't very coordinated, but it really taught me to, you know, get out of my comfort zone and really try different things. And eventually I was able to go in there and be more confident, and, you know, I learned a lot more about coordination along the way. I was also really inspired by the instructors at the gym. They just really had this like confidence about them, and I loved, you know, that they were able to do that as a career and make money, and that was their job. And so I asked the gym owner if it'd be possible for me to get certified, and she really believed in me and encouraged me along the way. So I ended up getting my group fitness instructor certification. It was through AFAA. So I started off just teaching one class a month, and we started with Pilates because I wanted something that was slower paced and that I could kind of ease into, and I'm really glad I did that. Pilates is a pretty advanced fitness platform, but the way that I was doing it, I was able to just teach more core balance, and it was a very beginner Pilates class. So after that, I started getting more comfortable, I started teaching more classes, and then about a year went by, and I was finally ready to go to a university and move off on my own, out of my hometown. And so I went to Central Michigan University, and I actually got selected for a really cool job there. They only choose like a couple people to do this, but I was able to work under my supervisor and teach a university accredited course by myself. So I was really grateful for that job because it really taught me so much. And really from there, my group fitness career kind of blew up. I was teaching like 2 or 3 times a day. I started working for the Student Activity Center, which was the gym on campus, and I was getting certified in a bunch of different formats. I got certified in TRX, cycling, hip hop hustle, and I was teaching a wide variety of classes. I didn't really have a lot of time between teaching classes and going to school, so I didn't ever do workouts on my own, and the classes that I was teaching were a lot more cardio based, so I was getting a lot of cardio, but I wasn't doing a ton of strength training. And if I was doing strength training, it was typically with like 10-pound weights, and I didn't really ever push myself to lift heavier. But I knew nothing about nutrition at this time, and I loved fast food, especially, you know, being off on my own for the very first time. My parents didn't really teach me too much about healthy eating growing up, so I basically just got whatever was easy. I remember eating like pizza rolls and Tostitos pizzas and burritos, scrambled eggs and toast. Like, I just did whatever was easy and cheap at the time, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I was getting a ton of activity. Eventually, all that caught up to me, and a couple of years into college, I actually was 20 pounds heavier than when I went in. And even though I was teaching so many classes a day, I couldn't keep the weight off because you just truly cannot out-train a bad diet. And you know, with my bad college habits with eating, and I was drinking on the weekends, I was staying up late, I was just not treating my body with care. I was really frustrated when I realized how much weight I had put on, because it was just like slow and gradual. And I was frustrated because I'm a fitness instructor and I get so much activity. I work out a lot, and I just didn't understand why I was not getting the results that I wanted. But I finally came to my senses and realized it was all in the little habits that I was adapting. It was all about the nutrition, it was all about the sleep, the water. And this was about the time that I met David, my current boyfriend of 7 years. And he was a personal trainer at the college, and he taught me a lot about nutrition. And I just started, wanting it more for myself. You really need to go and do your own research. You can't just look to one person to change it all for you, but you have to be willing to want the answers and go look for them yourself. Everything that you need is online. You can Google almost anything. I know there's a lot of information out there and it can be a little bit confusing, but you have to put yourself out there and research and make your own opinions along the way, because that's a very important thing. You can't just rely on a personal trainer to give you all the answers or tell you everything. You really have to go out and experience it for yourself. So I started really cleaning up my diet, eating more vegetables, taking out a lot of the bad stuff like the pastas, the breads, all the sugar. I stopped eating fast food, and I ended up losing almost 20 pounds. I felt amazing after doing that, and I was proud of myself, but I still wasn't 100% satisfied with my body, because once I took a lot of the fat off, I realized that I didn't have a lot of muscle tone. So at this time, I really wanted to learn how to lift. David was giving me guidance on, how to shape up more. We had to lift heavy. I was really scared to do that at first because I wasn't 100% confident with my form. So he really worked on correcting my form. And then we started pushing the weight from there. And that's when I really saw my body start to change. And it actually happened quite quickly that I started to see the muscle gain, and that really fueled a fire under me. And at this time, I was also following the Tone It Up girls. They really inspired me, and I was watching their fitness journey, which is kind of funny because now I'm making mine. But I was watching their fitness journey, and they were talking about how they did a bikini competition. This was also when Instagram was starting to get big, and I was following some girls on there. I think some of them were for bodybuilding.com, Jamie Easton and Ashley Nordman was someone I was following. And I decided to use them as references to help train for a bikini competition. So I ended up buying a program from Ashley Nordman. I had no idea what I was doing for this bikini competition. I didn't really know what I was doing for lifting, although David would help me with some stuff, but I didn't really have a coach or a program for this. And I also did not have a lot of money, so I was not able to hire a coach for hundreds of dollars to help train me. So I ordered Ashley's program, and it was just on this Word document with some exercises on it, and I remember not even following it to the T like how she had wrote it, but I was kind of just doing what I could. At this time, I set a date for the competition, and then I fell off, and I was getting kind of scared because I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I finally set a date in Arizona. I really wanted to move to Arizona at that time, so I decided to set my date in Arizona and go for it. So I had about 12 weeks to prep for it. I was doing Ashley's program, and then I also started following Jamie Easton's program on bodybuilding.com. So I was kind of picking and choosing all these different workouts to help me get there. I was really staying consistent. This is also when I started tracking my macros for the first time, and it was super eye-opening to realize that I wasn't getting enough protein. I was eating way too much sugar, and so that was very helpful when it came to nutrition and doing more of the flexible dieting approach. Bikini competition was coming up real fast. I think there was only 3 weeks left, and I was so nervous. I almost backed out at the last second because I just felt like I wasn't lean enough. and I didn't realize that I was supposed to be doing a lot more cardio. At this time, I had just fell in love with lifting weights, and that's what I would do every time I went to the gym, but I didn't realize that you had to do more cardio to get stage lean. So a few weeks before the competition, I was absolutely freaking out, did not want to do it. I kept talking to David like, I don't know if I'm going to back out or not, and luckily I had people there that really believed in me and just told me to go for it. So the week leading up to the competition, I ended up really cutting my calories back. Again, had no coach, so I was just reading stuff online, and I kept reading all this stuff about peak week, and there was a lot of like information out there that I just had no idea what peak week was or what I was supposed to do. So I basically just like cut my calories way back. I remember barely eating because I just wanted to get super lean, and if I was gonna do this competition, like I was going in there to win. Like I didn't just want to step on stage, like I wanted to place. So I ended up really cutting back my calories. That's not what you're supposed to do, guys. I just really didn't know what I was doing at the time. So I went for it. I did the competition. I didn't end up winning, but out of the open class, there were 17 girls and I placed 6th. So I was pretty happy with my results there. I thought it was a really cool experience, and it really taught me a lot about, you know, what my body needs to get to a certain level of leanness. And it taught me a lot mentally as far as like really pushing towards your goals, because, you know, when you're prepping for something, you don't have a choice of whether you work out or not. Like you just have to do it. You have to put your all into it. And I really pushed myself to the max there, and I was really proud of myself. At the end of the day, I'm glad that I did the bikini competition, but it really wasn't something that I wanted to continue. I think I started prepping for another one after that, but then I eventually just decided that bikini prepping just wasn't for me, and I just wanted to work out and be healthy and lift. I started getting into modeling at that time and doing some fit expos and photo shoots, and then also doing some promo modeling on the side just for some extra cash. And I ended up meeting Caden, who was the photographer for Gymshark, at one of the expos. And he invited me to go work with Gymshark at one of the fit expos, and I ended up meeting so many cool people in the industry, like Nikki Blacketer, Christian Guzman, Emily Skye was there. I met Mark Fit and his girlfriend Kath, and so many other girls in the industry that I got to work with for a few years after that as well. So it was a really great opportunity, and I was super inspired by these people. So I continued to work expos. I got invited to go work for Aesthetic Revolution at one of these expos, and that's actually where I met Performix, which was one of my first sponsorships. So I ended up signing with Performix as an ambassador, and then shortly after I signed with Aesthetic Revolution as well. So that was really an awesome point in my career. I was really pushing myself in the gym. I was tracking macros. I was in great shape. I had built a lot of muscle at this time, and this was around the time that the bodybuilding.com spokesmodel search was coming around, and Performix really pushed me to go apply for it. And I really wanted to do it for myself, but if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have applied. And I ended up getting into the top 20 in the bodybuilding.com spokesmodel search, but I didn't end up making it to the top 10. And I was honestly really disappointed in myself. I felt like I had let Performix down, and I really wanted to make it, something I wanted really bad. But I know now, looking back at it, that it just wasn't my time. And it ended up happening where a few months later, Performix was working with bodybuilding.com and their athletes to put out original content onto bodybuilding.com and creating workouts and programs. And at the time, I was not an athlete with Performix. I was just an ambassador, but they invited me to go to bodybuilding.com and go share my story and create some workouts for them. And I officially became an athlete with Performix at that time. And you can go to bodybuilding.com's YouTube and still search those videos. I was able to share my story on there and also create 3 workouts with them, and it was honestly just one of the coolest experiences ever. And I really have to give a lot of credit to Performix on that, because they set that entire thing up, and it honestly was so awesome to work with both bodybuilding.com and Performix. So about a year and a half went by, and I was really, hitting the gym hard. I was maintaining my physique and doing my thing with Performix, and I sort of hit a wall. Summer of 2017, I started to lose my motivation to go to the gym. I started losing my motivation to eat healthy. I ended up having my nephew Cameron come to San Diego for the summer, and he was here for about 2 months. And I really stopped training as consistently, and with him here, we were eating a lot more junk, and I was eating more like a teenage boy, because that's what he is. So I fell off track. I ended up gaining 10 pounds, and I felt like I was just going through a lot mentally at that time. I was really self-doubting myself through a lot of things. By the end of the 2017 year, I really was just feeling defeated. I was having gut issues, I was having acne, I didn't feel good in my own skin, I wasn't taking care of myself, and this was kind of a hard time in my life, but I knew that I could change it, and I knew a lot of it was my diet. So I started doing more research, and a lot of things about plant-based dieting and veganism started popping up on the issues that I was having with my body, and I decided to do more research, and really the facts started popping up, and I knew this was something that I really wanted to try. And then I also watched a ton of the shows on Netflix, and really after you see those things, you can't unsee them. So I decided that I wanted to go plant-based. So this was at the end of 2017, going into 2018. I started weaning myself off everything, and then January 1st, 2018, I decided to go vegan. And with me going vegan, it was a huge decision, because with almost all of the Performix products, they had milk in it. So if I went vegan, I would have to stop taking Performix, and that would mean that I would have to end my partnership with them. And that was really hard for me, because I had been through a lot with them. I had been with them for a couple of years, and although it was very hard, I knew this was the direction that I wanted to go in. And if you guys want to know more about that story, I actually uploaded a different video about why I went vegan and why I ended my sponsorship. So you can go check that video. I'll actually put it down below. But I went for it. I ended up going vegan. I ended my sponsorship. I stopped taking a lot of the supplements I was taking, and I started eating a ton of foods that were new to me, and I really just had to change my entire lifestyle to, go vegan. So 2018 really was a transition year for me, because I was implementing this whole new diet, and it took a lot for me to learn. I wasn't tracking macros through the 2018 year, which I kind of wish I would have, because I feel like I would have stayed on track a whole lot more, and I definitely was not getting enough protein in my diet. I just felt like mentally I wasn't ready to start tracking again, because I restricted myself for so long, and I just wasn't really ready to throw myself back into it yet. Like I said, towards the end of 2017, I was losing my motivation for the gym, and I wasn't really lifting heavy like I used to. So I also started working at F45, and I was doing a lot more cardio than what I was used to doing. So with not eating enough protein, doing a lot more cardio, and not lifting weights, I ended up losing 3 pounds of muscle, and my body was changing a little bit, and I wasn't completely happy with where I was, or even where I am right now, just because I went through all that in 2018. But about midway through 2018, I did start lifting heavy and more consistently, and I've been seeing my body change and get back to where I really love it to be. And even though 2018 was a bit of a struggle for me, I'm so excited for what is to come. I'm finally back in love with the gym again. I'm being consistent, and I finally got this plant-based eating thing down, and just really excited to push towards my next goal. But you know what, guys? That's what it's all about. A fitness journey is never just straight up. It's a lot of ups and downs, and we all go through it. And I just want you to know that you're not alone in this, and we're all in this together. I really appreciate you guys for watching this video. I'm gonna end it right here, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.